I don't think there's any better way to do the inaugural voyage of Spaceballs. Wet Spaceballs, I guess. Come on, you wanna do inaugural voyage? Come on. Then at one of my favorite fishing stores in the absolute world, Hammond's Fishing Center, boys. This place is absolutely epic. And there's my homie Tim, and my dog likes him more than me.
Oh, you know, always. You bro. You have it, though.
Is that real? Have you thrown it? We went through it at Charleston yesterday. It's kind of big. Kind of big. Well, I mean, some of us, you know, consider big a little differently than others.
Yeah. This is a candy store for anglers, but more importantly, I want to break in Spaceballs and get that inaugural bass center. So we're gonna ask Tim, because he's an absolute hammer out here on Lake Lanier. What's going on Lanier, dude?
Well, right now we have a little bit of everything. We got some pre-spawn, we got some post-spawn, we got some shad spawn. So we got blow-throughs, points, blow-downs, deadfalls. We got a lot of different things going on. We got hard banks, we got sandy bank stuff going on right now. Jerk baits, wacky rigs, you name it, Keitechs. I mean, everything's working right now. This place is fantastic.
That's not what I wanted to hear, because now that I got a boat payment, I did not want to buy a bunch of stuff, but it sounds like I need to buy everything.
So like your silver flash minnows work really good on your cloudy days. But other than that, electric shad's #1, sexy shad's #2, Tennessee shad, your shad looking baits. Yeah, we got a lot of
I didn't even know you
We're
had
fully
that many
stocked.
Keitech. They're all like up here.
Yeah,
They're hidden
we're
under.
stocked.
These are the sneaky ones that Tim kind of hides, so you guys don't know they're there.
Yeah, well, the short people see them.
The short. One thing I always like to do is look at cool local stuff.
We got the Hudson hammer baits.
Whoa, that's like
Not a whole lot of
everything, dude.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of underspins out there like that.
That's naughty. He's got a super sneak spinnerbait too that he wanted to show us. It almost looks like a mini musky lure, dude.
Yeah.
That thing looks really, Tim, you sold me again. And so this is the arm on that classic spot remover spinnerbait too, where it's sort of a compacted spinnerbait so the spots can get in that smallmouth and that, even though you don't have smallmouth. That is gorgeous, dude. Bog, we can't spend any more money. We just need to go fishing. What do you say? High five, go fishing? All right, let's go. Tim, I love you, bud, but I gotta get out of here. Dude, I need to go catch fish and stop spending money. Make sure to come and visit Tim at Hammond's. This store is absolutely epic, but there's one thing I really need to do. I need to catch an inaugural bass on Spaceball. So we're gonna get out on the lake, see if we can't catch him onto the spot and break in good old-fashioned Spaceball, see how she actually fishes. Lanier trip if I didn't have the old swimming shimmer tied up. I love throwing that swim bait and I can do so many different things with it. What I really want to throw is this guy right here because I just got it. It's the new honey badger from Berkeley. It's this thing and it's a really cool looking crankbait and I think it can tear them up. And then I got a drop shot, all your classic finesse as well as kind of spotted bass kind of stuff. Be a decent one. What do we have going on here? Okay. Oh, he come off! How did he come off? He was behind that rock. You like that, Bug? Look up, Bug. Taking him over the front, catching big old spotted bass. Living the good life. Dude, how about that? Dude, they're so fat. That little rock freaking current block is holding a bass or two. Fish. He is absolutely killing it. Just reeling and moving pretty quick. You like that, Paul? Look how
bug. Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that. He's a little bigger than I thought standing up. He's spawning, dude. That is a red eye spawning spotopotamus right there. That's a 3.5 pounder, boys. I got bit 4 times throwing along there. Let's get her back. You ever drop your boat in and you're like, dude, that weatherman is a douche. Like more of a douche than me. Dude, I dropped in. They said 5 to 10 today. It's blowing an easy 20. Now, granted, late spring, the wind can blow really hard in the morning and then kind of lay down throughout the day, which is kind of what, fingers crossed, I'm hoping for. But the wind isn't a huge deal. It's really good for these spotted bass. Stirs up the bait, makes them bite. Got ourselves a little pattern, boys, and of course it has to do with one of my favorite baits, a little swim bait on a Scottsboro. That's a little 1/4 ounce ball head. I'm using the lighter wire today instead of the Ascent weights. Probably mostly because these fish are swiping at it. You also notice I got a 2.8 on. It's the smaller Keitech. Might go up to a bigger one, try to get a bigger bite later this afternoon. But I want to buzz it pretty quick. And these fish are weird. Had kind of a late spring cold front go through, so it's making them kind of swipe and not really commit to the bait. So I downsized to adapt to that. We're more focused on the stuff that's on the bank, and that's big chunk rock is what we're looking for. If there's some trees and stuff like that, that's great. But that big chunk rock is there, and I think one of 2 things is happening in relation to that. One, they're spawning on it. There's some late spawning fish that are getting up, spotted bass on that big chunk rock. The other thing is there's a herring spawn kind of happening. Not super great, but it's happening, and those fish are using those big chunk rocks as sort of ambush points. Wind blowing over. Thank you, weatherman. Freaking ripping, dude. But the wind's blowing that current over and blowing the bait over that rock, or those balls of herring are just kind of sliding through and those fish dart out, kind of an opportunity deal, and smash on them. But for that very reason, they're smashing on this. Come out of there. Oh no. I watched him eat it, dude. Oh no, he broke off. That's the second fish that's schooled me on a tree, boy. So it's interesting. I pitched in there. This is like an open hole. Somebody cut this off to make a brush pile. And I saw her do a spin and go straight down. So there's a bed. I think it's that dark spot. There's a spotted bass bed right there. We're figuring out a little pattern here, dude. Pounder, dude, on the old Nedster, power net actually. See how I was shaking it a whole bunch too? I really think these fish are on beds. Like the ones I'm catching, like flicking this thing around on on these rocks or in this wood. Either they're using the shade cover to ambush stuff, or I really think they might be on beds because they're biting a lot like it. That's a big one. That is coming off. That was a spawning fish.
Oh, that was the one.
That was the one. That was a 4-pounder. Dude. What do you think of Spaceballs? High five? All right. Not a bad inaugural trip for Spaceballs. You know, I love this lake, and I think part of the reason is I get to do things that I absolutely love to do. Throw that small swim bait, throw that Ned, and it seems like, at least to me, like I can read this lake, I understand it, I understand how the fish move, and it just makes it so much more fun. And dude, the spotted bass, absolutely vicious, dude. So how about a little pattern breakdown? We did something I absolutely love, and You saw that little swim bait, that little Keitech on a 1/4 ounce Hellfire. That's a Scottsboro jig head. Absolutely killer, dude. The thing we did different though, 2 things. We fished a 2.8 inch Keitech, a little bit smaller. The fish were very nippy, and I find when they're on beds, or it kind of got a little cold a couple evenings too, when they get in that sort of neutral mode or they're a little weird, they tend to swipe at the bait. So downsizing your bait, just classic reaction to sort of fish in a neutral mode, or if they're swiping at the bait and missing it, so we downsized. The other thing too is we fished a little faster. We kind of kept our rod tip at a 45 and reeled pretty quick. We were fishing this in pretty shallow water, relatively speaking, for Lanier, anywhere from 5, 4, all the way down to 10, 12 foot. I was bumping rocks, you know, throwing it over flats, what they call blow-throughs here, and just really covering water with it. And I was covering water in between the cover that we fished. And the cover that we fished, we basically needle dicked. And needle dicking is different than noodle dicking. Noodle dicking is kind of plunking in open water. Needle dicking is taking this little Ned, that's a Gambler Power Ned, on a Clint Davis Nichols Ned head right there, a little weed guard on there. Got it on my 610 Halo, just a little kind of short little plinking rod basically. And like this cover you see behind us, we were looking for trees laying in the water, we were looking for rocks underwater, big boulders, big chunk rock, and usually the spots spawn on that, or they'll use it as an ambush point. And then we were just kind of shaking the bait. That really is what got us our big bites. Sadly, we lost them all, dude. Like, I lost 2 over 4, and then I lost another one that I never saw. The 2 over 4 we saw, which makes it even harder to digest. But basically we did that. They'll get tight to that cover, or they'll actually spawn on it during the day. We did that a little bit later in the day. But 2 absolutely like fun patterns. I love fishing this way. It's kind of a 1-2 punch where you can cover a lot of water but also be intricate and pick things apart. This lake is amazing, and if you ever want to come here, stop by Tim. He's my good buddy. He owns Hammond's, and get yourself some baits and come out here and catch some fish, because you will have an absolute blast. Spotted bass are absolutely vicious. They're fun to catch, and they do all kinds of crazy stuff, not to mention the water is super clear, and you can see them fighting back the whole way through. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was sort of me and my happy place, dude. I love this annual trip to Lanier, and there was no better way to do it than the first trip in Spaceballs, dude. This boat's going to see a lot of fish, have a lot of good memories, a lot of good times with me. So thank you guys once again for making that happen. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you don't do it for me, do it for the Bogster. We'll see you back out on the water talking fishing from the garage. Tight lines, my homies.